we were all made by the Christ, the Spirit of Christ. In theological terms, he's called the divine economia, which means that the Christ is the work of God. That's God is the creator of the universe, but that activity of creation in theological terms is defined as the work of the Christ, the Spirit of Christ. Therefore, that Spirit is in the whole creation, in everything from some degree to another. Now, I just want to be absolutely clear. I am not saying that everything is the Christ. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Christ, is with everything. If you excuse the terminology, I'm not a pantheist. I don't believe that God is represented by everything, and I don't believe in a multitude of gods. I believe in one God. I am a panentheist, which means that I believe that God is with everything. And the more that you develop a relationship with Jesus Christ, the more you will come to love and appreciate that God is with you. Since my conversion in 1985, when I met Jesus Christ in my near-death experience, I have come to know Jesus better and better and better. And it's kind of funny because people say, does God talk to you? And I go, yeah, all the time, every day. And I think people are kind of, think that's a very extravagant statement. But what I mean by that is I try to listen to God every day and hear how God is directing my life. What does that mean to listen to God? Sometimes, and they're rare, I audibly hear the voice of God. I don't know if someone were in the same place with me, whether they hear what I hear, but I hear. That's not common, that's rare. Where I do find the voice of God very loud and clear is by reading the Bible. Hello! There is many inspired scriptures in the Bible. Inspired means that the Spirit of God is in those words. So if you read the Bible over and over and listen to it carefully and shut your stupid preconceptions off and let God speak to you, you'll find out that God will speak to you and reveal new things. The Spirit of God will speak to you and give you new understandings of who God is, who you are, and what that relationship should look like. Another way that God speaks to me, and I love this, is by other good Christian people. I go to church because I learn things from other Christians, particularly in our Bible study, and particularly in the sermon, and particularly in the worship. I want to add that the number one reason why I go to church is to worship God, but I get a lot out of church. Matter of fact, there's many times at church, to be perfectly honest, most of the time when I go to church, I get blown away. I get revelations. Things are opened up to me that I didn't understand. Another way that God speaks to me, and this is really important, and I've already sort of touched on this, is by praying. By praying, I don't mean sitting there telling God, I want this, do that, do that, do that, do that. Yeah, do I do that? Yes, I do that, but I try and keep that down to a minimum of what I do, asking God for this and that. The main thing I mean about praying is listening. Shut up and listen. There's too little listening in our society, and I don't know what the viewer's experience is. But now in our society, everybody's like yelling at each other and telling each other what to do. And there's very little listening. Listening is becoming a dying art in the world. We need to listen to God, and that means being quiet. There's names for that. It's called meditating. It's called contemplation. It's called prayer. Whatever works for you, go listen to God. Okay, so I've talked about reading the Bible. I've talked about prayer. I've talked about having really good Christian people that you hang out with and that you learn from. Those are 4 ways. There's another way that I want to add that maybe it's not for everybody, but it's an important way for me. And that is simply being part of nature, appreciating the creation. And that's really big for me. The flowers, the trees, the birds and the bees, the salamanders, the rocks, the grass, the weeds, the dandelions. I just connect with God so beautifully. And of course, there's spectacular ways that happens, like going to the Grand Canyon. I mean, if you don't fall in love with God by standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon, there's something wrong with you. If you don't fall in love by sitting on a beach and looking out at the waves in the ocean, there's something wrong with you. If you don't fall in love with God by looking at a sunrise or a sunset, there's something wrong with you. Now, I know that's my thing, but I'm not alone in that. A lot of people get a really strong connection to God by simply being part of nature.